Every year, the lives of thousands of Torontonians are deeply impacted by traffic collisions that happen to themselves, to their families, or their friends. Yet up to now, there is no organization dedicated to them. Friends and Family for Safe Streets is the first organization of this kind in Canada.
The hundreds of deaths and thousands of injuries on Toronto streets we've seen over the years were all preventable. As someone closely impacted by road violence, the 65 deaths we've already seen this year means real kids have lost a parent, loving parents have buried their child, and close friends have been lost without a goodbye.
Just last Thursday, on a single day, 18 pedestrians were struck by vehicles. That's 3 times the daily average, according to the Toronto Police Service. Simply put, enough is enough. We have to end fatalities and serious injuries on our roads.
A woman was drunk and drive from behind and struck him at a very high speed. And she didn't stop, run away from the scene. And police later found her and discovered that her driver's license had been suspended because of previous drunk driving incidents. The first thing is we need to realize that these are not accidents. The culture has to change. The road is not just to move traffic as fast as possible. We must realize people of all kinds, all types of users share the streets.
Tom was riding his bicycle to work. He was waiting to make a turn and he was struck by a van. The driver of that van kept on driving, so it was a hit and run. Tom was pushed into the intersection and he was struck by a second van and killed. I would like individuals, when they get into their vehicles, especially everyone, pedestrians, cyclists included, but especially people who are getting into vehicles, motorized vehicles that have the potential to hurt and kill, please focus on the road. Put away the distractions. Make your priority getting from point A to point B safely and courteously, and not as quickly as possible, not to teach somebody on the road a lesson, but just be safe.
And out of nowhere, a 33-year-old female driver of a minivan jumped the curb, crashed into a TTC sign, hit a light standard and a pedestrian crossing sign, and then hit Erica. And she died at the scene. Then the worst thing I had to do in my life was to sit my children down next to me and tell them that their mother had died that day. Don't text and drive. I think that that's what accounts for a lot of the injuries and fatalities that we're seeing. It's people still continuing to use their cell phones while driving. Coming together and advocating for lower speed limits in dense areas, better road design, safe spaces for all users of the road, and advocating for stronger enforcement and stronger laws and penalties for careless driving, distracted driving, would go a long way. It's a problem that requires a lot of measures to improve. It's hard to think of just one solution to the problem.
If you think Toronto can do better, if you believe through better enforcement, street design and legislation, we can prevent collisions from happening, or at least from being catastrophic or fatal. If you consider the victim blaming and excuses unacceptable, this is a call to action. Join Friends and Families for Safe Streets advocacy today. Everyone has a stake in this. We can't keep going as if it's not happening.